Good morning. Setting up. Let's get to it. Give me 1 second here. I'll give you the fancy opening and the fancy music. We'll go and heat my coffee and be right back for PPI. Good morning. Oh, we're not on it. Hold on. So I want to see what happens with this PPI number, if it's going to matter or not matter. Let's get one of these guys up here. Tell us what's going on in the world. U.S. telling Russia and Ukraine they have peace again. That's nice. See how that goes. Yeah, baby. Here we go. It's exciting. Huh? Who's excited and got two thumbs? This guy. Here we go. What was your initial reaction? Still reading. Stay with me. All right. We got it. Thank you. Get rid of this guy now. And let's go take a look at what they're doing. I don't think it's good. I think you're going to roll. I think parts came in hot. And if parts came in hot, then they have inflation. And then if you have inflation, they're going to suggest that they're not going to cut rates. So I think that's a problem. Copy. Okay. Okay. All right. Retail sales 0.2. So retail sales are down, so the consumer's weak. Okay. So once you tell that to Kohl's and A&F, that's the first thing. So retail sales are down. PPI year-over-year forecast is 2.6. That's what you're forecasted. You're coming in at 2.7. So that's higher. Core, that's food and energy. For some reason, they call core without food and energy. And your forecast came in lower. Your core came in lower. Your forecast for month came in at 0.3. So it's not great, and it's higher than expected, which means CPI may be higher than expected. This is all they have to go off of, so this is what they're going to go off of. I personally don't think it's great. We'll see what the market does. What we always want to do with the market is take that 830 bar, okay, and we just want to mark it off. And then just watch what happens that, because that tells us where the algorithms are. Now, just because we're undercutting it there doesn't even mean that we're going to go down. It could mean that you just stop hunting. So you want to watch. Now, if it gets super aggressive and it becomes like a massive, like a hard reject, what do you got for me? What am I doing wrong, John? Wrong mic. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. You're on it today. Who's on it? Got 2 thumbs. John, you have 2 thumbs. Right? Hopefully you have 2 thumbs, or that's going to be really embarrassing. So, thanks, John. So you should be able to hear me better now. Double check that. Them internets, man, they'll sneak up on you, switch your mics and everything. That's how they get you. So you just want to watch, like, are they going to do the undercut or are they not? Or are they going to, run you? So you just want to watch. Maybe you can pick up some more data by watching the cues and seeing if all 3 things are doing it. The undercut and see the follow through and go from there. 830, you tell me still wrong mic? No, yeah, I got the right mic now. I don't know. I'm right. Everything's good. Take a break. Get a cup of coffee. Relax. It'll all work out. So you just want to watch right in here, that bar. Are you going to flip? You probably put a little level there and just see. I don't see this as I don't see yesterday as anything more than them just squeezing the bejesus out of people, to be honest. So that's really how I saw it. Let's see how we open here. You have a lot of news to go over, like a lot, and we'll go through it. So I do want to say something because I keep forgetting this, and I will mark it down. For you guys that are trying to get on TradingView or have TradingView, you're crazy if you don't do this now. If you don't do that 80% thing, that annual thing. I'm just going to keep doing it all week and reminding you guys. I don't care if you do it through me or not. It doesn't really matter to me. I do give the funds when they come in to St. Jude's. Usually everything goes to St. Jude's. It goes into one account, and then it either goes to St. Jude's or the other one's Mighty Oaks. So hold on. Where is that thing? Do I have that in here? Here it is. There it is. Hold on. There it is. Hold on. I think I even set it up yesterday. Didn't I set it up as like one of those banners or something? Oh, it won't work as a banner. I have to drop the comments in. Just keep renewing it, bro. That's what I think I go out to I think I go out to 28 at this point with the damn thing. It's just so ridiculous. Hold on. 80% off. I think I go out to I really do. I think I go. Sale. Let me drop it in here. I do. I think I go out to 28. One guy was laughing. He's like, I go out to 30 or something. But you definitely want to do it. If you're getting that or you want to try it, I think one of their things is, I think one of their levels, even if you don't do the big one, it's $200 for the year. It's crazy. To me, it's crazy, but let's get back to this. All right. So Google's coming in. That means everything's coming in. Google's going to be your bellwether today. And so you're dropping on that. I'm not overly surprised by that because you have weak economic data. And on top of weak economic data, you also have an environment that inflation's high. So it's higher than expected. Give me 1 second here. I got to go pin it. And let's clean that off. And then there it is. So I'm going to pin it here. Yay, pin messages. So thanks, guys, for sharing these videos. It shows me that more people are sharing them and everything, which is really what I'm trying to do, get this message out there, make people better. So it seems to be working. It's a lot of fun. All right, cool. So, all right, so we have our level right in here, right? And those numbers are awful. So they're not showing that inflation's going down, and that's a problem. So that's the first thing that we're dealing with. Okay, so here's where we got world peace for 90 seconds. So let's see if we can hold the world peace area. I'll mark that all out. I don't think I even have to mark it off. We're about to see if world peace is going to hold or not. Whole lot of nothing. that's what that looks like. I'm going to paint this whole picture on, let's see if that holds. I want to paint that whole picture on Google. All right, let's do it. Let's do it this way. This is what I know so far. So whether Google goes up or down, it's irrelevant. Here's the thing about it. So TPUs are a direct threat to GPUs, period. Meta is going to buy billions of dollars, apparently, from Google, their main competitor. So that should tell you something right there. They are competitors for attention, hands down. If you think they're not, you don't understand that you're actually not the customer, right? You're actually the data. So they want your attention. Google wants your attention through YouTube, right? Yay. And Meta wants your attention through Instagram, whatever. So if you think about that, they're direct competitors. All right. Meta is writing billions of dollars to Google. That could not have been an easy decision for them, like at all. And Meta's obviously going to lift on this. So, and it's kind of interesting because is that going to lower their energy costs, which it's supposed to do? So this is what I know. This is what I'm being told so far. And I'm still in that like basic view. TPUs don't use as much energy as GPUs, which means uranium stocks will come in, even though that makes zero sense whatsoever. It still will probably happen. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Google's probably going to wind up going a lot higher over time, because not only now do they have probably what is the best one of these things out there, arguably by any metrics. I went over that in Saturday's video. I'd watch that. But now they're going to enter NVIDIA's market. And that's why NVIDIA is getting smoked. I don't know that NVIDIA bounces from this. Like I own a lot of NVIDIA. I'm not selling it, the long-term stuff on this. But if they start using something else, I'm going to have to realize that, hey, this thing could be settling down into like the 150, 130 range. Why they start figuring it out and going, okay, well, we have to make our chips more effective. And that's going to cut into gross margins, man. Like if you have a competitor, it's not even, are you going to use this? But now you can cut into gross margins. It's a whole thing. And so now what we have to do is get up to speed on this stuff. There was a really good Bloomberg Live today. If you could find it, I think it was around 7:30, where they explained the difference of these things. But it's going to smoke NVIDIA. AMD is back to pig status. Nobody's going to buy AMD. Nobody. So that's pretty much it there. Put a fork in it. I marked off my levels. You can just screenshot them if you want, but I don't see it. And then the other names that are going to come in today are probably Micron and SanDisk on this. So you do what you want. I actually went long SanDisk. You see, you came back to this, and this tells you what kind of market you're in, whether you want to hear it or not. That's up to you. But SanDisk added to the S&P. Ask yourself what would have happened to SanDisk 3, 4, 5 months ago, getting added to the S&P. SanDisk gets added to the S&P, and you're flat. You're essentially flat. What are you up? 2%? You had to move. This is a move for ants. So you came back to the breakout bar, right, where the algos bought it. You held, and then in here somewhere, 33, I bought it, traded up, blew some out, came back down, and I'm just like, you know what? I got out of it. And candidly, the reason I did is because I think they're going to weigh on it, because they're going to say, okay, we need less DRAM. I'm not an expert on this. I'm just telling you from like the broad strokes how I see this. We're going to need less DRAM, and I don't know if you need less data or what it is, but AVGO is moving on this. Like they're rocking on this news because the interconnectivity is what you're going to need. But at the same time, the rumor is that they're going to use Intel. So, you have to kind of walk through this stuff and understand that you're going to be on the wrong side of a couple of these things, and it's going to be pretty vicious. I remember when we bought this at 90 and everyone was telling me that we were crazy. It was overexpensive. And now here you are from September coming into December, and this thing's going to take out 400 probably today. So understand you got a lot of moving parts to this, but I don't know that I'm chasing this one up like that, but I do think people are going to go and look at Google and go, I can't believe I don't have Google exposure. I do believe that. So it's definitely something there, and it's certainly something I'd be paying attention to. Other names that were super interesting today, Kohl's absolutely crushed. I'd strongly suggest you watch that. Burlington, not so much. You're down 20 at this point. This ACLX is pretty much done. I'm surprised it's not down more. I'm biased. I have a short position from yesterday. They have something, they're not allowed to use it, or it's a disaster, one or the other. You can go read it for yourself. What else do we really want to go over here before I take questions? I'm trying to pack this in. So you were done and wrapped up by 9. So if we look at the market, we can look at our 1 o'clock area right here. We can see so far you're not doing anything but falling down. We would also argue that if we take a look at the ES here versus the NQ, it is already telling you that the S&P is holding up better than the NASDAQ. Whenever the S&P is holding up better than the NASDAQ, right? Whenever that is happening, that is a clear indication that people are being defensive with their positioning. Whenever you see that, it's like whenever you just go over here and say, okay, ES is down 6 or down 5, NQ is down 25 bips, right? Whenever you see that, it's telling you point blank that you are in a position here where people are being defensive. Because if you're going higher, they're going to buy the higher beta names. So just a real quick way you can always look at the market, make that thing and look at that. So hopefully that's helpful. But if you break our quote, world peace for 90 seconds, you know, and these sound bites they're not lasting any longer. So I think that's important. Then of course you'd have to watch that level. Your big level, like Mother of Dragons level, is down here. And you just better not break that. Right in here it actually is. Please, sweet Jesus, with the magnet. If I don't see some of you, happy Thanksgiving. You guys take off. Gobble, gobble. But if you break, it's a long way down. So I really think that's how you need to look at it. And you're already seeing from here, you know, that 6 o'clock level. You have a massive wall up here, by the way. Like it's massive. Did I say it's massive? Let me show you where it is since you asked. Hold on. There it is. So you have a massive wall up here. It's massive. Did I say massive? It's freaking massive. And it's right up here. So you're going to want to watch that for sure. Faux show. So I keep telling my son I'm hip. He just does not believe me. So, all right. Higher high, right? Trying to get higher right in there. Here. I mean, does that look like something here? Like if we hide them. All right. Does that look great? I've seen great before. It doesn't look like that. So, you know, you could say, oh, it's forming a flag. I think the more appropriate thing to take from this is if I showed you this chart, what would you think about it if you didn't know it was the NASDAQ? You would just say, well, we're hitting lower highs and lower lows, right? Like you would just probably just do something so simplistic as just say, well, just by looking at that, it's a problem. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a problem. And if you just did the simple things, you know, let's go here. We'll go over to this one. And then we can get funky. So that's not good. I've seen good before. It doesn't look like that. But my point being this. All right, I'm making a higher high here, and I'm lower. Like, you don't want to be there, man. Like, that's not good. So I'm not crazy about what's going on. If we draw from here over, you'll see these levels. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean all this off for a sec. And you can see that we're already overbought, which is crazy. You're already overbought on the 4-hour on the NASDAQ. Watch the hourly. You're completely overbought already on the hourly, and you're already rejecting. Like, that's nuts to me. Absolutely nuts. So I think you're going to have more weight on this market than people think that they're going to have. So we'll see. There's a couple things I really want to go over with you guys, but let's focus on this for a second because I think this is super important. I don't know if people get this. You're already overbought. So this big follow through that you think you're going to have, I don't see it, man. So then what we do, now that we know that, right, and we can see that you're already overbought, and I do think that's pertinent, and I'm just going to clip that for later, and then I'm going to drop that in here so I have it for later. I love when we do stuff together. And I want to go to the peak for a moment and just show you something. So this is your peak and I'm just going to go back to make sure that I'm right. So this is our peak, right? October 30th, Halloween. Ooh. And then you come through. And this is when we started talking about this, where we had head and shoulders and head and shoulders and started getting all meta. Left, right, head, neckline, broke, goes again, right, left, head, right, neckline, broke, right, tries to bounce back up. So we're getting them over and over again. And I'm not saying that you're going to fall off a cliff, but you're expensive and you got a lot of crap going on. So when we start to see this, what these things start becoming is they start becoming weights. So you start looking for like the times when you make out the higher high over, right? And you start looking at those levels. The heads almost is what you would call them. So left, head, right. And you start looking at those, right? And really what you're trying to do is seeing if you're getting above some of that stuff. So here's left, right, left, head, right, right? So you just kind of go through it and see, are you getting above that stuff? Left, head, right. It's better when it works, when I click it. All right, left, head, right. Okay, cool. So if we look at this, we would say that, yeah, the shorter term stuff, we're still getting above. What we want to do is focus on that one. So we would want to focus on the one that we're battling, right? We don't need to focus on the ones that are above us because we have other stuff up there. But what we'd want to do is we'd want to focus on the one that they're fighting right now and then watch how that fight goes, right? That's what's important. It's important to find the line that is the line that we have to pay attention to today. Now, if we drop that to a 15 for a minute, we can already see that we held that line. See how we flipped that particular line and we're holding it? So that's the line that we want to pay attention to today, right? That's how you decide what line's important and what line's not, right? It's not rocket science. So you're just saying, like, are we responding to that area? Yeah, you hit it, you rejected, and then you went through it like, a hot knife through butter. So are we going to do that again? I don't know. I'm not that smart. So I got to make sure if it does that I'm prepared for it. So you probably want to watch that particular line. And then the other thing that you may want to do with this is just kind of watch and say, if we break that from the peak, this is where it takes me. Also, and I think that's important, but also understand that like 24.5, I don't know that you're going to take out the lows. So I actually think you're better off watching. If I could give you other levels, like those two levels are probably the best to watch, in my opinion. That's how I see it. If it got super nasty, if we got down to that level. So I think that's important. If we took a look at the, the ES, and you are bouncing around, so I'm not so sure you're going to fall apart. I think what you're going to do is I think you're going to rotate. I think you're going to rotate. I think the rotation is going to go into the names that are going to benefit from TPU usage. And I don't know what they are. I have an understanding that it would be Meta, Google, AVGO. They seem to think. I'm surprised Intel's not up. But if we go through this, we're going to find something very similar, I bet. Okay. So that's the one we're focused on now. And if we start taking out highs, then we'd want to focus on the other ones. But that would really be the one that we'd want to pay attention to. Like if you're stopping there and you just got news, or you're getting news, like world peace, right? Everything else, and you're still holding that 4 o'clock level and we bounced off of it, it might be good to know that. Now, the other thing you always want to do is just kind of drop from the high and just look where the volume profile is and go from there. And just say, all right, so we really don't want to break 66.82. And that would be the other thing that we'd want to pay attention to here on the market. Because if that breaks, I think all hell breaks loose personally. But so I'm going to put a little alert there. And I really should put a little alert right here too. Just a little one, just to let me know what's going on in the world. All right, cool. So we got that all set up. Now, if you go, the other thing I would just point out to you here, you can already see the weights that are already up here waiting for us and how you're forming a flag. I did come in long puts on the market in case something happened. I don't know. I'm up. I'll be up in them, but probably not enough to even hold them. Probably enough to get out of the way. You know what I mean? I'm not so sure that this falls off a cliff. You could have weight on the market that then rotates because NVIDIA is 8% of the market. So you have to understand that. Like it's 8%. And I don't know that you're going to hold these levels. 170, you're probably going to go through hard. I think you're going to go down to like 165. I think it's going to be a bad day because they were the only game in town and they're not the only game in town right now. So I think it's going to be a bad day. I think it's going to be a really bad day for AMD, like really bad. I haven't started shorting yet. I've been too busy prepping and everything else, but I will be shorting AMD. I will be shorting NVIDIA today. I can already say it, just from a trading standpoint. But I think Micron will get smoked. I think SanDisk will get smoked. The trade might actually just be to do this, just buy SOSX, right? Call it a day. Now, for how long they get smoked, I don't know. I don't have a clue, but I think that's the trade. I don't know if we need anything else. Just all right, let's go through this. So I'm going to give you, I need more coffee. I'll give you my sense of what I'm learning about this stuff, bro, but I'm not an expert. So I'm getting up to speed on TPUs. I really haven't been paying attention to them except for like the past 48 hours. They need less memory. They need less storage. They need less energy. I don't know about computing power. I don't have a clue. And there's also been a change, and we should probably discuss that change as well. That probably be really, really good. But AMD is freaking toast. If you break that level, where's the put wall, man? Am I going to have time to get this off in size? Oh, you're through that. You went through that like butter. Good Lord. Man, I need some kind of bounce there. This is going to go negative today. SanDisk is going to go negative today. You're going to get added to the S&P and you're going to go freaking negative. What were you talking about? You asked me a question. Oh, I'm getting up to speed. I don't believe we're getting world peace either. I don't believe we're getting world peace either, brother. You know what? Let me get more coffee. I'll be right back. All right. I got the red ones too from Roca, the red blue light glasses. They're pretty good. They're for like nighttime. They're supposed to help you make you sleep better. But they definitely help with the eye strain on staring at the screens because we stare at screens all the freaking time. I think some of these names are in trouble. Like I think they're in real trouble today. Because you're going to have a lot of people. I'm not saying you're not going to bounce and you can't take the long side on the bounce, but you're going to have a lot of people that are going to look at this and go, this is a direct threat to that AI CapEx. And this is Meta. Like to me, that this is probably why Meta is moving the way it is. If you want my opinion, well, you're going to get it. This is why Meta is moving the way it is. They're going to decrease their CapEx and say that they don't need to spend as much to get the results that they want. That's how they're going to get out of this mess. That's where I think this is going. They're going to come out and say, we don't need to spend as much. We can use TPUs to achieve the results. It'll lower energy costs. We don't need as much storage and memory. We don't need and I'm spitballing and you can shoot holes in this, but I think that's where it's going. And we need a ton of energy. So I think that's where it's going. So this might have a really good day. I don't know. I'm spitballing. I'm still trying to put the pieces together. Let's get to it. I'm long Oracle. I'm not doing anything with it for the guy that asked. I don't care about the inversion curve. I give up. The 210 was inverted for 18 months. And all I kept hearing about was the inversion curve. What's up, brother? Merck. Let's talk Merck. I think you're going to see a lot of people do that, man. I do. I've been thinking a lot about this where Merck, Lilly, like the dumbest thing I did, the dumbest thing I did this year in 2025, and I've done a lot of dumb things in my life in 2025. But the dumbest thing that I did was I owned this at like 950. I got out at like 1030 because the market turned. I don't like holding names that I think are defensive for when the market turns the other way. But I think people are understanding like, whoa, wait a minute.
Kennedy's actually a friend of these companies if they follow the guidelines. He's not out to destroy them. He's just out to make them better. And I think there's something to that. I don't care your political beliefs, but yeah, I think there's something to that, man. I agree with that whole space. I think anything in that space makes a hell of a lot of sense, John. Google's just gone. It's just gone. Do I want to buy gold? I don't. You have a double top. There's nothing for me to do here with gold, like zero. It's got to set up again, rebuild. And from a long-term perspective, something like a Newmont, if it comes back down, yeah, I'm interested. But you'll note that gold and all the gold names stopped the minute that the dollar stabilized. Like you can literally go to the penny, right, and see that level. Like you can literally go to it and see exactly when the dollar stabilized and see when gold and all these gold names stopped. It's like to the dollar. It's crazy. So, what do I have here? What am I going to do here off the open? Coal's crushed. I would suggest that you look into that. What's up, Jay? You got a little Christmas gift there, a little box? I don't know that you have a bottom yet, bro. I don't like yesterday's action at all. It actually scared the hell out of me, to be honest with you. I'll show you why. Excuse my language today. I got a lot of sleep too. Usually I can keep it under control and not have potty mouth. This kind of stuff, when I see this kind of imbalance at the end of the day, that stuff scares me because it means lack of liquidity. And it also means maybe somebody's really out of position. So, 23 basis points up, 23 basis points down in a minute in the market for no reason. I had Tesla. I sold Tesla calls and I was like a genius. Listen to me. I was a genius until I was a moron, right? Like just one bar. I mean, it was crazy. I'm like, for God's sake. And you got to just get out of the way. I sold them like up here. So I didn't get destroyed on it, but I think I still lost like $1 on the sold calls. And I'm like, I'll just hold them overnight. It'll be fine. It'll come in tomorrow because we're way higher than we should be. I had my whole thesis. It was like, hey, here's $3. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, you got to laugh. But that's setting up. You're setting up to get destroyed, huh? 412. I guess that's not destroyed. But the market scares me. The market scares me. I don't know that you're bottoming. Here's why you could be bottoming. Here's why you could be bottoming. If we go and take a look at this historically, and it doesn't mean just because Nvidia drops that the bottom of the market's got to fall out, right? But when move bottoms, if you go and look at any of these times, September 2nd, October 10th, and now we have what happened on Tuesday, and you had a third standard deviation or 2.5 standard deviation of tech selling on Thursday too, bro. So there are signs that, yeah, that might be it. I don't have anything like definitive here that we're turning. So I need this to start lifting higher for a more longer term bottom. And I'm not getting that. And if I go S5 FI, right? And then I go ND FI and I look at that, what we need is exactly what we did get. And I've been waiting to see something like that, but we got it on Friday, apparently. Like the breadth of the NASDAQ is getting better than the breadth of the S&P. And if we can pop here and stay here and then start coming down, yeah, that would be great. I'm not sure we're there yet. Historically, for these kinds of bottoms, they tend to get up to a higher level. So that's what we're looking for. They tend to get up to that level, but this is where we got in April. And then that's where you got in September. So this was really extreme. I don't think people understand how extreme this move was. So I don't think you're there, John. I don't. My sense is that we have not bottomed. My sense is that after this flush comes out of the market and they get rid of all of it, that then we might. I'd love to see a retest of things. And I think off the open, you're going to get that bounce where people are like, oh, everything's on sale. And then they're going to realize what they own. and they're going to have bought the same names and realized that they should have rotated into other names. I think that that's going to have been the move. But I think this thing's going to live today because they're going to be the innovators now, right? They're going to be the guys that are going to cut costs and go a different route. So they're going to be, quote, the disruptor, and it's cheap and it held its put wall. So investors are going to buy it. There's a story there for sure. Let's go see where we are with the 3 and the 5 and the 8. Yeah. So like you turned, right? So right on top means stop. I'm not the brightest bulb. So the green will flip the red. So we've got a 3-5 cross, and now we're about to get a 3-8 cross, and then you're going to have a 5-8 cross. So somewhere in here, yeah, you probably have bottomed on that name. But between here and, you probably have bottomed on that name. Grail. I don't know all the crap going on, and you're gonna make me look at Grail. Probably worth looking at though. Jesus. I have no idea, bro. I have no idea why it's doing what it's doing. I don't know anything about it. I think Mill's been playing with this one for a while, right? You can ask him about it. I don't know anything about it. It's a beast, dude. There's not really much to say. Like, I'm not going to really add any value. I'm sure the volume's insane. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I'd have to get up to speed, Jay. Mara's in a lot of trouble because they're going to get thrown out of indexes. So I wouldn't go near that. I do think the IREN I like a lot. They might have a bad day. And it's not justified, but they might have a bad day. Is that all you need from me? All right, cool. I'm going to have to jump here. Let's do Apple. So, yeah, every time you close above this VWAP, I get all giddy, and then it just breaks right below it. So I'm just going to avoid it and kind of go from there. I don't really see the sense in doing much there. Where are we here? All right. Oh, I'm going to clean up on those puts. Cool. ANF I thought was decent. So I have a position. I have a real long-term position in this that I just leave alone. It's been like a disaster. Like sometimes I'll do fundamental trades. I actually bought it, not this day, but I bought it like 95, and then it came down in here, and then I let it turn, and then I bought more here, and I'm still sitting with it, one of my longer-term accounts. And I didn't add to it. I'm just sitting with it. It just doesn't make any sense to me because like they're killing it. Like here's $3, 230, right? So, here's another 230. So like, I don't know, you're just going to keep earning $10 a quarter or $8 a quarter, right? No, it's 8. Yeah. You're about $9 on a fiscal trailing 12, and you're trading at 70. So you're just going to trade at 8 times earnings forever. Okay. I'll just keep buying it. Like it doesn't make any sense. Right. There's some real skews in the market on valuation that make no freaking sense to me. Kohl's is one of those names, but ANF too. AVGO, the switching, I get it. I don't know. I don't know that I'm chasing that. If I was out there today and saying, what is the one thing that you have to own based upon this? We've been buying this for a while, the Google, but to me, it's really understanding that. And I think Meta is going to get some love on this. I think Meta is going to get some love, like, oh, you're the innovator, you're the edgy one, you're going to go a different route, and you're going to be the first mover position. Like that might be why this thing's moving the way it is. So I wouldn't stand in front of NVIDIA. I would let it burn and then kind of go from there. That's where my head is. I shorted it yesterday when I saw something in the chart. I'll show you what I saw. And I'm probably going to have to jump here, guys. I'll show you what I saw really quickly. So you can just watch it. So that is your peak earnings VWAP, right? You see how you rejected in here on Friday? So I actually bought in here, like trying to hold on to it. And then it hit here and here. And I actually shorted it. And then it did this at the end of the day. And I'm like, not today, Satan. And I stayed with it. And then after hours, it fell apart and I got out of it after hours. I didn't hold for this because I didn't think it would get this bad, candidly. But I made money on it, but I'd watch that level because that peak VWAP from earnings has been rejected over and over again. And now you know why, because this must be all over the tape. These guys must have known that. I'm just going to go through these super quick. KTOS, I wouldn't go near. PLTR should probably have a bad day, I think. Yeah, I agree with that. What's up, Tariq? Yeah, hopefully we did a pretty good job of that today. I can't have time to go through these. I would say that I don't think NBIS is affected by this. I marked those levels off on the chart. Wrong mic. We fixed that. Good inflation. Yeah, we'll be hold for rally. It's going to be hard, dude. Agreed. You're 100% right on that. Thanks, you did. Bro, agreed, but when? It's like the clock that keeps on ticking. She does say that about me. She's like, you have the voice of an angel. Oh, does he sit on Meta's board? Oh, I didn't know that, Jay. That's super important to know. I didn't know that. Thank you. That's super important to know. Thanks. You guys might want to read that. Mm-mm. 15 open, high, low, close. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know that he's got a new report out, but look, he's called 9 of the last 3 crashes, so it is what it is. What's up, brother? What's going on, Steven? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a nothing burger. Right. Ukraine said yes. Oh, good. How about it? How about if they speak for themselves? Like, it's just crazy. Just keep trying to, make headlines. Like, just get it done. Or if you can't, you can't. Like, there's only so much, man. I don't know. It's like painting the headlines over and over again. It's not working the way I think he thinks it's working. I don't know. It's not working the same way. All right. Make good choices.